So if Mamdani shows up with NYPD trying to arrest Netanyahu, do you honestly think Netanyahu's guards are going to let him get arrested? Mamdani is risking a real altercation that he will not be able to come back from. So he is playing with fire. We covered two things in this video. Well, actually one thing, but the first part of it is Mamdani speaking on Netanyahu and how he wants to arrest Netanyahu in September when he comes to New York City. The second part we're going to talk about is Marco Rubio addressing the International Criminal Court, the same thing that Mamdani wants to obey. So let's go ahead and watch Mamdani comment on this question here in regards to Netanyahu, and then we'll respond to it and talk about it.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is perhaps planning to visit New York for the UN General Assembly. You pledged during your campaign and after you won to order his arrest to comply with the International Criminal Court warrant. What will happen if he comes in September?
Look, I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's a war criminal who has been charged by the International Criminal Court.
Before we continue, I want to point something out. So Mamdani agrees with the International Criminal Court that Prime Minister Netanyahu is a war criminal. But he forgot to mention that him and his wife openly support Hamas, refused to condemn what happened on October 7th, and his wife celebrated what happened on October 7th on social media. So do I really care what this man thinks about Netanyahu? Not really, considering the fact that an actual war crime happened, a terrorist action, a terrible one, on October 7th happened, and he refuses to condemn the people who did it. But let's continue.
What you will find is that is an opinion that is held by many purely because of what his actions have wrought over these last many years. I've also said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City because I believe that there's an importance in following the law as a leader.
Okay, I got to pause right there because he's saying there's an importance in following the law as a leader. Says the guy who wants no borders. The guy who wants to completely legalize illegal aliens. If you cared about the law, you'd care about enforcing immigration law. But you don't care about enforcing immigration law. See, these people like to pick and choose which laws they enforce. Whichever ones fit their narrative, fit their agenda, that's what they want to enforce. So keep this in mind and understand that he is full of crap when he says stuff like this.
Resides over our city, and that's something that I plan to do.
Meaning? I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means.
Meaning that whatever the law allows me to do in New York City, that's what we will do, but we won't be writing our own laws to that end.
What does the law allow you to do?
That's an active conversation with our legal department in seeing what the prospects are we have here in our municipality. However, what we've seen at the national level is a desire sometimes.
I don't know about you guys, but I look at Mamdani and I see a snake. I see a fake. I see a phony. Fake smiles. He's very much like Obama in the sense of he's a very good speaker, right? He's a good-looking dude, but he can just talk and talk and talk. But with all this fancy talk, I still see a snake. Now, the question becomes, how long is it going to take for New Yorkers to see that? I mean, it's a little too late now. They voted for him. He's their mayor for the next few years, but I hope they come to their senses before re-election comes up. Otherwise, I don't know if we're going to recognize New York in 10 years, guys.
To write your own laws, to go outside of the bounds of legality, that's not something we have an interest in.
I mean, normally when people come to a UN General Assembly, they're granted a sort of amnesty because it is the seat of the United Nations. Is that what you're thinking that you'll honor, or you're actively looking to see if you can actually arrest him?
I think we are looking at all of our legal obligations, and one of them is with regards to the United Nations. But
we have no legal obligations to the United Nations or the International Criminal Court. As you're going to find out from Rubio here in a second, we're currently at war with them, so to speak, because they want to control the world. And America does not want to be controlled or fall under any umbrella of any globalist agenda because we know where that leads.
The other part of this is we're not talking about a personal assessment of Benjamin Netanyahu. We're talking about the International Criminal Court and the fact that they have a warrant out for this prime minister's arrest. And I think it's important to talk about the weight that that has as a charge, and also that as the mayor of New York City, I'll be following the laws of New York City.
In America, that carries zero weight. Now, here's Marco Rubio. He's going to be talking about the International Criminal Court. Now, listen close to what he has to say. He's going to give you some key details as to why not only can we not trust them, but they have an agenda.
For 250 years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders. We determine our own laws. And when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers. This is the essential and indispensable feature of our form of government. It is the foundation of our shared way of life. But today, powerful people in faraway places want to take that away from us. They believe that they should be in charge of your laws, of your country, your life, and they don't care whether or not you agree. Halfway across the world, there's an institution that calls itself the International Criminal Court. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. But chances are you don't know the names of its judges, of its prosecutors, or its president.
Nope.
And you shouldn't have to. But as we speak, the ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country, not with bullets or missiles, but with statutes and compacts and the force of so-called international law. When the ICC was born 24 years ago, they told us that it was merely a narrow backstop, a global court that would step in to prosecute only the gravest offenses, things like genocide and war crimes, and only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute them on their own. But the truth is, it was something far more radical and extreme. It was a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalist bureaucrats who claim their power is almost unlimited. The danger of this global court has only continued to grow. Today, it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system.
Think about that for a second. These are unelected officials by anybody, by any nation. Unknown, unelected, people who just decided, hey, this is what we do. I'm in charge of this. What I say goes. That's terrifying. If America was to bend the knee to these people, can you imagine? These are people who aren't representing you or your interests at all. They're representing their own agenda. Basically, they can just condemn whoever they want. This is terrifying. But let's continue.
Border Patrol agents removing violent criminals from our country. American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland. Prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans. If we stand idle, all of them would be at the mercy of foreign judges thousands of miles away, facing the constant risk of prosecution and even imprisonment for the so-called crime of defending their own country. The American people never agreed to any of this, and they never will.
Nope.
Read the words of our Declaration of Independence. We fought a revolution against a foreign power, transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Independence is our birthright. We will never let foreign bureaucrats take that away from us. This administration will not sit by as the ICC and its allies seek to threaten our people. If they believe they can deprive us of our sovereignty, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve.
Ooh, Marco Rubio for president 2028. We will teach them the full meaning of American resolve. Man, what a speech. So you have this International Criminal Court. A bunch of people you don't know. Mamdani supports it. Why does he support it? Well, it would appear that since they condemn Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel, he's on their side. I don't know what else they condemn. I don't know who their enemies might be. Maybe they're biased. Maybe they don't like Jews or Israel. I don't know. But that's the whole point, right? That's the scary idea of this is you don't know these people. They're not a jury of your peers. They're not judges from your own country or culture. These people are just no-names who have decided these things, and we don't know where their allegiances lie at all. They just want to decide the fate of whole nations and nations leaders and pretty much anybody and everybody, which is a scary thought. And America's not going to bow down to that. Trump has said as much. Marco Rubio just said as much. So you already know we're not going that direction. Now, what happens if Mamdani was to arrest Netanyahu in September? I think that's the end of his career. That's what I think happens. I think he's done so. So if he was to arrest Netanyahu, I'm willing to bet that feds would get sent immediately to have him released. Now, and that's if something drastic doesn't happen before then, because Netanyahu's going to be traveling with his own security forces. So if Mamdani shows up with NYPD trying to arrest Netanyahu in New York City, do you honestly think Netanyahu's guards are going to let him get arrested? Taken into custody? I don't think so. I think at that point, Mamdani is risking a real situation, an altercation that he will not be able to come back from. And it could ignite a much larger problem in the United States at that point. So he is playing with fire, just like he played with fire when he decided, hey, let's set up a meeting with the Iranian leaders while we're at war with them. Got caught, pretended like he didn't do that at all. And now he's in danger of being prosecuted under the Logan Act. But look, that's another topic of discussion. Point blank is, don't trust the International Criminal Court. Don't trust Mamdani and stay the course. So if you like the video, make sure you like, subscribe, comment below. I'm Noel. Christ is King, and this is God in Politics. I love you guys. I'm out.